Hi everyone, how are you guys doing today? It's kind of nice to do a live video right in the middle of a weekday. That's pretty cool, huh? I hope your day is going really well. For those of you who are on your lunch break or happen to be able to see this, I have invited KJ Howe. She is a thriller author. She's an amazing thriller author. She's a great presenter. She's going to be in this video to tell us all about ThrillerFest. Right now. So while we wait, anyway, she is a wonderful thriller author who I recently saw present at Sisters in Crime. And I thought, why not bring her on to talk about ThrillerFest? And she so kindly agreed. So she's connecting right now. And there she is. Hi, KJ. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I was just talking also about your amazing presentation that we saw at Sisters in Crime. I really loved it. She gave us all this amazing firsthand information using primary resources about kidnap and ransom. It was fascinating.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the research. It's basically taken over my life for the last 5 years.
I can imagine. Yeah, you actually spoke to real former hostages and negotiators and just everyone. It's pretty incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, so today I wanted to ask you a little bit about ThrillerFest. I remember when I first heard about it and I said, wow, that sounds amazing, but I don't know like a ton about it. So I thought there's probably people out there like me. So can you tell us basically what ThrillerFest is?
I'd be absolutely delighted and interrupt any time with questions. So 14 years ago, David Morrell, who's the creator of Rambo, and Gail Lintz, and a host of other thriller authors looked at each other and said, hey, we don't really have anything that we can, go to during the year, an annual conference, a group, supportive kind of mandate. And so what they did was they created the International Thriller Writers, which is the umbrella organization that plans, Thriller Fest, which is an annual conference in New York City, in Manhattan, at the Grand Hyatt, every single July. And so if anyone has an interest in meeting George R.R. Martin, the Game of Thrones creator, this is the year to come. So basically what we do is we have a week-long extravaganza, and perhaps it'll be easier if I just kind of walk through the week to share, exactly what it is we do. On Monday, we have the ATF coming. So basically we're going to have, a canine dog, we're going to have cyber experts, gang experts, organized crime experts, and going to talk 9 to 5, specializing in everything to do with the ATF and how it works. So that'll be very informative. If you're, going to write a story about an ATF agent, that's the place to be. And then on Tuesday, we have something called Mastercraft Fest. And if you look on the internet and thrillerfest.com, you'll see that we have 11 teachers, and the class size is 10 or smaller. And this New York Times bestseller and talented teacher will spend time with you all day long from 8 till 5, sharing knowledge, sharing craft tips, critiquing your work, encouraging you, telling you about the business, answering absolutely any questions you might have about, the writing and dialogue, plot, suspense, everything you want to know. So that's a fantastic opportunity for more of an intimate setting. And then on Wednesday, we dive into our formal craft fest. There's 4 tracks from 8 in the morning till 5 p.m. And which is nice because you can choose what your passion is, right? I love it when you get to go. And if there's 2 courses at the same time that you can't live without, you can just buy the CD to hear it later, which is a really nice thing to do.
Super convenient.
And
Yeah.
I know, right? Like, because sometimes it's always the way it's planned, those 2 dream panels or lectures you want to attend at the same time. And so basically in this session, we have a mix of things. We have classes on like dialogue or point of view, but we also bring in U.S. Marshal, and sometimes Secret Service, some ATF, CIA, blood spatter analysis experts, handwriting experts, forensic dentistry experts. We just go, to town on trying to help writers get it right. And at the same time, you're going to hear from people like James Rollins, Heather Graham, Steve Barry, David Morrell. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Walter Mosley, so you're going to be sitting there absolutely, caught up in that lecture about the issues you're having in your book. So you can sit there, take notes, then take this information back and fix what was wrong with your manuscript. So that's that. And then Thursday, we continue a little bit in the morning with Craft Fest, same idea. And then we switch to what we call Career Fest. And Career Fest is amazing because it focuses on the business of writing. And we're very, we try to be very cutting edge, bringing in some of the top experts. And for example, Mark Dawson, from indie fame, will be joining us this year to talk about, how do you get your book published? What are the things you can do to help sales in your book? And a million other things. So we talk about traditional publishing. We talk about indie publishing. We talk about how can you get your book to go from book to film or TV series. We have experts in that as well. So we basically focus on everything to do with the business of writing. And then we go into Thursday afternoon, and I affectionately call Pitch Fest the zoo. So what we do there is we have over 250 authors are pitching to 60 top agents. And because we're in New York City, we're very fortunate that, they can just come down the street to join us. And so we have it set up, and it's so cute because everyone's nervous, they're pitching. And if you're worried about that, please don't, because we spend a lot of time educating our attendees before they have to go to Pitch Fest. We have practice sessions, we have, kind of lectures on the best way to pitch. So we'll make sure you go in really well prepared.
That's fantastic, because that's such a nerve-wracking experience.
Yeah, it's so watch everyone online, you can just feel like the energy and the jitters. But frankly, it's really important to realize that agents really need writers, and they can't, make a living without your phenomenal work. And it's so important to make sure that you interview the agent as they're interviewing you, and make sure it's a very strong fit,
Yeah, those are excellent points. And I found that when I did my first round of pitching, that kind of advice really calmed me down.
Yeah, and also just be yourself. Look them in the eye, smile. Listen, if you're an agent and you're sitting listening to pitches for a couple of hours, right? You want someone to connect to. Mm-hmm. You want to just relax and enjoy their company. And they're there because they're really keen on finding, the next great writer. So that could be you. No doubt about it. And so Friday, we kind of kick off ThrillerFest, kind of the general ThrillerFest, where we have panels and we have spotlight guests. And George R. R. Martin will be interviewed by his Random House editor, which is going to be amazing to hear all his secrets and who he might kill off next, right? And as well, Megan Abbott, who's a phenomenal psychological domestic suspense writer, is going to be interviewed by the infamous Lee Childs. So what a great interviewer, and he's terrific. So it's going to be a blockbuster day on Friday, a big cocktail party. By the way, we do have cocktail parties every evening at ThrillerFest. Seems to be popular with the writers.
And to loosen up and really meet people, yeah.
Exactly. Well, the best part about ThrillerFest is the networking. Really, you'll be blown away because it's super friendly, very interactive. We do not have a green room or a VIP room. Every single person, no matter, superstars, walking down the hall, they'll stop and ask you, what are you working on? Where are you from? It's a really beautiful, friendly conference, and we make sure of that. And the badges all just have your name on it. There's no, special ribbons or anything like that. Just flat out, you're a thriller enthusiast, and you're absolutely welcome to join us. And then on Saturday, we have a very special breakfast for the debut authors. So all the debut authors get to be on stage and talk about their novels in front of a ballroom of people that are really keen, looking for new things to read. So that's phenomenal. And then we have Steve Barry interviewing James Rollins. And James Rollins is our Silver Bullet Award winner this year. And it's for a recipient for charity work. And James has done so much, for the community. It's unbelievable. So we'll be honoring him there. And then Saturday night, after all the panels and the signings, we have a beautiful banquet which caps off our week. And it's so much fun. No boring speeches. We're talking really good laughter and a lot of laughs and great. And then all the awards will be given, and also the Thriller Awards, so everyone who's up for, best first novel, best ebook, or whatever it is this year will find out their fate. So that is basically the week in a snapshot. Very pleased to answer any questions you have.
That sounds amazing. And I'm noticing that it seems like each day is mostly dedicated to one particular thing, so you can really focus, as opposed to the only conference I've been to, which was really great, was one where it was just panel after panel after panel, and there wasn't necessarily this day dedicated to this or this day dedicated to that. So it's like two different approaches. And I think it's really cool that you can spend a whole day focusing on something.
That's a very good point. And what we want to do, we welcome everyone who's a thriller enthusiast. For aspiring authors, it's unbelievable to be able to attend Mastercraft Fest and study with a New York Times bestseller. It's like a gift, right? I mean, I know myself, as a newer writer, that I definitely benefited from that kind of intensive study. And then as well, when you want to pitch, is there any better place to pitch than where there's 60 top agents? And if you are interested in that, you can take a look at thrillerfest.com, and we have a list of the agents that will be attending. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then you can think, sort of gear yourself up for that. I was also thinking, though, based on some of the people you were saying were there and some of the topics that you said would be covered, it sounds like this would actually probably be good for people who are not necessarily thriller writers, but mystery, with the K9 unit and things like that. Probably other genre writers would also gain a lot from this.
Well, I'm really glad you brought that up because we call ourselves ThrillerFest, but we're super inclusive. For example, R.L. Stine from Goosebumps fame, he comes every year, and we have a young adult panel, like at least one this year too, and they're phenomenal. We have science fiction thriller writers and, kind of romantic suspense, cozy writers, mystery writers. We call ourselves ThrillerFest, but I think what we want to do is be super inclusive and share with people that if you're writing a page-turning book, because what we consider a thriller, come join us. It's not about, you know what I mean, it just has to be like a techno thriller or medical thriller. Not at all. We welcome people from all, walks of the genres because we can learn from each other. And really what we come together is to celebrate, our passion for writing.
Yeah, and it seems like, people are coming from everywhere, I think. This is a really huge event. And I remember that I had told one of my own clients, because I'm an editor, he was a thriller writer, and I was asking, he's in Australia, but I was still like, are you coming to Thriller Fest? Because he writes amazing, really, like you were saying, fast-paced novels. So I think people are going to be coming from everywhere. You're coming from Canada, you'll be there. So do people get to meet you too?
Oh, of course. I mean, I'm here to roll the red carpet for anyone who comes. If you're nervous, write me on the ThrillerFest website. There's my email. I will set you up with an experienced ThrillerFest buddy. We want to do everything we can, to make people feel warm and happy, for sure. Even though I write about kidnap and ransom, I swear I have a gentle heart.
I know that's true. Well, thank you so much for being here. It was really awesome hearing more about Thriller Fest and really getting a better in-depth look of it. And I hope that you guys are going to make it. I'm going to try and make it next year. This year didn't work out for me, but a lot of people that I know are going. So you may even bump into people you know from Facebook there, which would be really cool. So anyway, thank you so much, KJ, for taking the time with me.
It was a real pleasure, and good luck with your writing. Hope things go well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.